Welcome to our presentation, Project 1. The country we chose is India. Our team members are Afton Kern, Boo Smith, Carter Sloan, Javier Vasquez, Jose Vasquez, Paul Henney, and Soraya Bishop. Javier Vasquez will start presenting.
The six Hofstede cultural dimensions, India's score versus the US. The first one is power distance. This dimension has to do with not all individuals are equal. Some have more power than others. India scored 77, the US 40. Indians recognize the power and rights one individual hold more than the US. The second one is individualism. This dimension deals with the degree of independence a society has amongst its people. India scored 24, the US 60. Indians act for the benefit of a group compared to the US, which is more self-reliant and a culture based on equal rights. The third one is masculinity. This dimension is based on competition. India scores 56, the US 62. They share the value you need to strive to be the best you can be in all aspects. The fourth one, uncertainty avoidance. This dimension deals with some culture worrying about the unknown future. India scored 40 and the US 46. Indians accept that nothing has to be perfect or that it has to be exactly as they planned it. Americans have a fair degree of trying something new or different. Americans are less emotional. The first one, long-term orientation. This dimension is all about linking the past with the present and the future. India scored 51, the US 50. Indians strongly believe in karma. The US relies on data. They analyze it and make decisions based on that data. And the last one, indulge. This dimension has to do with the control of people's desire and impulses. India scored 26, the US 68. Indians feel indulging is wrong in some kind of way. Americans like to indulge. The term work hard and play hard is popular among the population.
When comparing the American culture and the Indian culture in a global business standpoint, there's three things I want to touch on, which is the approach to disagreement, communication style, and the feedback evaluation. Now, the first one, approach to disagreement. Generally, Americans are more of a um, confrontational style of people, whereas the Indian culture is more of a non-confrontational, meaning the American style is more of they are willing to debate. They want to know the facts of why something is the way that it is, whereas the Indian culture realizes that when something happens, it happens for a reason. They don't necessarily feel the need to debate it with other people. They understand that the answer is what it is. Now, with the communication style, um, generally in the Indian culture is more of a high context culture, whereas the American culture is more of a low context culture. So what that means is the Indian culture relies more on bodily language and implicit cues, and the American culture again they rely more on direct, explicit, and detailed forms of communication. They want to know the details, and then along with like feedback of evaluation. Um, the American culture is more direct, whereas the Indian culture is more indirect as far as negative feedback goes. Americans rely more on focusing on what how they can improve and what they can do better in that standpoint, whereas the Indian culture isn't necessarily that way.
When negotiating in India, relationships come first. Building trust is essential before any serious business happens. Indians communicate indirectly. Yes often just means they heard you, not that they agree. Respect for hierarchy, age, and titles is important, so always address senior leaders properly. Bargaining is a natural part of the process, with prices shifting significantly. So leave room for that. Don't rush the conversation. Negotiations are slow, often jumping between topics. Trying to speed things up or applying pressure can damage the relationship. Agreements are important, but relationships matter more. Be flexible and committed for the long term. That's the key to success in Indian business culture.
Government structure, country leadership, and political developments. The government type in India is a federal parliamentary democracy with the bicameral legislature. The leadership is composed by Draupadi Murmu as President of India or the head of state, Jagdeep Dhankar as Vice President, and Narendra Modi as the Prime Minister or head of government. Many changes in India's political arena are affecting its business environment, giving foreign investors reasons for both to hope and be cautious. Trouble with Pakistan, anti-corruption moves, and new rules make stability challenging. While there are many opportunities for investment thanks to bilateral deals, reforms and improvements to infrastructure. Businesses, however, are responsible for facing uncertain rules, global risks, and political changes at the state level. To reach their goals, investors in India should keep track of changes in policies, evaluate threats in each business area, and change as needed with the economy.
Economic freedom is the measurement of how well the government intervention is affecting the national economy. According to the Heritage Foundation, India has a score of 53, giving it a mostly unfree status. 2 points of property rights and government integrity are below the world average. These low scores point to government corruption and lack of good intellectual and physical property protection. This can make it challenging to do business in India, as there may be a lack of government support when protecting the assets and copyrights of a company, potentially leading to an increased risk and cost. The 3 points of business freedom, labor freedom, and monetary freedom are above the world average. This above average section is a testament to the Indian commitment to providing a good work environment, competitive wages, and a stable inflation rate. It indicates that India is a fair and conducive place to do business.
Regulatory environment plays a vital role in international business. There are 3 areas of focus: starting a business, paying taxes, and contract enforcement. Starting a business in India can take anywhere from 68 to 82 days or longer. Overall infrastructure in the country is lacking, meaning that securing a building, setting up utilities, or clearing land can also be slow. Paying taxes in India is costly. India has the 3rd highest corporation tax of any G20 nation. The corporate income tax currently in India is 30%. Contract enforcement is also mediocre. Often the courts are tied up and slow, and contracts are not always enforced. Mumbai and other larger cities in the country have better enforcement rates than smaller areas.
Section 8. Import tariffs and free trade agreements. Import tariffs are taxes that India charges on things coming into the country, things like products or materials. These taxes can make goods more expensive, especially food and farm items. India imposes high import tariffs, especially on agricultural products, of up to 39.6%, while industrial goods face lower tariffs at 14.7%, making them more cost effective for export. Only 3.1% of imports are duty free. India has a free trade agreement, or FTAs, with countries like Japan and other Asian countries. which can help reduce costs through strategic supply chains. To succeed, businesses should focus on industrial products, stay informed on US India trade developments, and consider sourcing from FTA countries.
Foreign direct investment, or FDI, in India has a long and complicated past. With complex financial regulations, a lack of domestic manufacturing, fragmented markets, government red tape, closed relationships with the public, and high corporate taxes. In recent years, in 2021, the Indian government tried to improve this by lowering corporate taxes, boosting domestic manufacturing, lightening financial regulations, introducing public investing. However, this did not go well. As we know, in May of 2025, just as recent as this month, many corporations started exiting the Indian market via IPOs. This caused the net FDI to plummet 96.5%, a historical number.
India has maintained a relatively stable GDP annual growth rate since 2021, while the fiscal year GDP growth has dipped from 9.30% in 2023 to 6.50% in 2024. The potential for further growth remains promising. According to the Trade Economics, the GDP growth rate as of December 2024 has shifted from 1.6% to 1.4%, indicating a slight decrease in the economic growth rate. As of 2023, India's gross national income per capita stands at $10,030, with a population of over a billion people as of Monday, May 6, 2025. As of May 13, 2025, Trading Economics report that the inflation rate is currently 3.16%. The inflation rate is down from the January report and has been steadily declining since 2023, a trend similar to the United States inflation rate decrease. The lowering of the inflation rate, stabilization of India's economy is making a good time to invest in India, since low interest rates and low inflation help encourage exports and strengthen the country.
Now, the difference between the United States dollar and the Indian rupee is substantial. Currently, right now, one US dollar equals 85.15 rupees. Now, that was taken from the month of May. And the cool thing is, it is actually reducing. At the beginning of the year 2025, it was as high as 88 rupees for $1. And so they hope that they will see a dramatic drop, and by the end of the year 2025, they will see that the rupee has dropped to 84 per one US dollar. Now, I've broken it down into three different sections: cost management, revenue impact, and investment decisions. Now, with the cost management, we know that a strong rupee reduces the cost of importing US goods and services, potentially improving profit margins for Indian firms. And that kind of builds along with the revenue impact, which, if the rupee were strong, we would know that the U.S. exporters to India may benefit from a stronger rupee. The reason being is this would make their products more competitively priced, allowing for more competition, I guess, within the Indian market, and would also probably make it a little more competitive as far as the American market goes, because the Indian products made there will also have to be a little more competitive. And then with the investment decisions, the exchange rate stability is essential for long-term strategic planning. Fluctuations introduce financial risk that can deter foreign and domestic investors and investments. So we know that as the exchange rates fluctuate, it kind of messes with investing, and a lot of people have a hard time taking risks like that.
These are the three chosen product ideas. Number 1, language translation tools. Number 2, nutrient-dense snacks. Number 3, clean water and mosquito prevention system. We will be presenting this project in our second project. Thank you for attending this presentation. We hope it has been informative.